Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
It's you and the senorita woofer blowing up the tweeter, cause it's me up in the speaker. Knocking the mama seat top down like a player, and the sound up in your ears, it is the dopest rhyme say. Running game like a cheater, I'm born like.
So how is the band Fall Out Boy? A lot like Donald Trump. Stay with me on this one. We are going somewhere. When Fall Out Boy came out, when they had their moment in the sun, which was, I don't know, 2006, 2007, I think it was sometime in the, what do they call it? The 80s, 90s, and in England they call the year 2000 to 2010 the noughties, because in England 0 is naught. Instead of saying 0 or nothing, they say naught, which is kind of funny when you're getting someone's phone numbers. It's like 281 not 6. Really? It's definitely not 6. Oh wait, I see what you're doing there. But in the mid-noughties, 2005, 2006 or so, Fall Out Boy, for anybody that was working in radio at the time, were humongous and inescapable. I remember talking to someone, and they were like, "Man, you work in radio. You must get to see all these amazing shows." I was like, we do get to go to shows. I don't know if I'd call. Well, here's the thing, like I've been working in radio, been in entertainment since I was a teenager, been working in radio for years. And, there's some bands that I really, really love that I've never gotten a chance to see at the time. I hadn't seen Nine Inch Nails. I hadn't seen U2. Still, waiting to see Pearl Jam again since I was, I don't know, a kid. I saw Pearl Jam once in, I think I want to say the 8th, 9th grade. They were amazing at the Brixton Academy in London. It was fantastic. And I haven't managed to get to a Pearl Jam show since. And people are like, you must get to all sorts of shows. And I was like, nah, I haven't gotten to Pearl Jam. I haven't gotten to Pearl Jam, haven't gotten to Nine Inch Nails, haven't gotten to U2. But every time I turn around, there's Fall Out Boy again. And I despised Fall Out Boy. I couldn't hack it. Which is weird because when I was in a band, we played with Fall Out Boy, and it was great. We had a great old time, and they were super nice guys, but something happened. Something happened along the way where I was just like, I can't stand Fall Out Boy. Just, oh, my God. And when they went away, I was really stoked about it. And then they mounted a comeback. This was years later, when all the mania had died down. When people weren't sort of like doing their very best to get the same haircut Pete Wentz had. I think, I'm not sure, but I think at one stage in the game, Pete Wentz from Fall Out Boy, their bass player, had like a signature hair straightening iron, a flattener or whatever the hell they call it, that was being used in such an ill-advised manner by guys that were into that band at the time. Terrible stuff. And so they went away, and when they came back, I was like, ugh, here we go. I hate Fall Out Boy. Let's have a listen to, that was really good. I like this. This kicks ass. This rocks. Boy, I did not expect to like new Fall Out Boy. And then I'm on the air one day and playing new Fall Out Boy. And we do this thing called double shots occasionally where we play 2 in a row from one artist. And we played some new Fall Out Boy and we played some old Fall Out Boy. And I was like, hey, I actually really like this old Fall Out Boy song too. And I was like, hold on a second. And I went back and I listened to some stuff. I was like, wow, this is... I don't mind this. Some of this is actually pretty good. It's musically, it's very clever. They're smarter musicians than they get credit for being on a regular basis. I was like, wow, that's actually surprisingly good. And then what I realized was that all these years, I didn't have a problem with Fall Out Boy. It wasn't Fall Out Boy or their music specifically that bothered me. It wasn't what they were about that ground my gears in the worst possible way. It was their fans. I realized I didn't hate the band. I hated their fans. I hated the the guys wearing guy liner and girl pants with haircuts that made it look like there was a truck going by them doing 50. That's what I couldn't stand. And it's not like I can't stand Trump supporters. Look, I will be the first of the party to say that Trump is a ridiculous human being in many ways. But if the things he said weren't coming out of his mouth, I think a lot of people would take him a lot more seriously. And for that reason, I think I consider him to be a bit more of a viable candidate than a lot of folks do. But stay with me on this one. There's something about the people that follow him that troubles me. And we'll get into it next.
Tonight you're cutting loose and having fun, 'cause that's my job and my job's about to get done. Yeah, that's how I'm operating, and I beg motherfucker for cooperating when I say put your hands up, touch the sky. If you're really feeling really good, then wave them from side to side. It's time for a little rebellion. The Metallion in front of you is telling you the things you gotta do. Check 1, 2, is this thing live? 'Cause it's time for the party in the first stage dive.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
Yeah, I do what I want, when I want, how I want. Every day you're going and working, running that rat race at that pace in that place will leave a bad taste for anyone, everyone working day after day. So buddy, I gotta say, for you there's gotta be a better way. Yeah, and you do what they told ya. Company man, feel it, a mindless little soldier. How can you live like that and maintain your composure before it's begun? Your life's already freaking over. Yeah, I do what I want.
So, how is Donald Trump like Fall Out Boy? Well, stay with me on this one. I came to realize a little while ago that as much as I felt like I hated Fall Out Boy back in 2006, 2007, or whenever it was that the world was absolutely consumed with Fall Out Boy mania, when that happened, I decided I hated them. But recently, I sort of went back, listened to some of their older music after realizing I liked their comeback record and went, you know, I don't think I ever really disliked this band's music. I just couldn't stand their fans. I couldn't stand those guys in girl jeans and guy liner and rocking haircuts that made it look like there was a truck going by them doing 50. That was stupid. And you know what? They don't really have those fans anymore. I don't think those fans exist for the most part, which is a good thing. And it allows me a certain amount of clarity when viewing, listening to, taking in that which is the essence of Fall Out Boy. And what they're all about is super freaking well-written songs and clever musicianship and some of the most astute, erudite lyrics when you break them down that are being written at the moment. Not my favorite band by any stretch of the imagination, but I just realized they weren't the egregious assault to everything that was good that I thought they were at the time, interestingly enough. And I realized I didn't hate the band. I hated their fans. Now, I don't hate fans, supporters of people that are hot to vote for Donald Trump. In fact, I don't know how this conversation goes when you talk with your friends, but I think I happen to be one of the people, well, when I talk to my friends, I seem to be willing to extend Trump the benefit of the doubt more than a lot of other people. And look, hey, he doesn't need that. He doesn't need me extending the benefit of the doubt. He is so far ahead of the game. Now, when it comes down to it, will people actually be willing to pull the lever of democracy and elect President Donald Trump, the guy that beefs on Twitter with Rosie O'Donnell? That's what everyone's saying. And I say, Ronald Reagan got his start playing second fiddle to a monkey in Bedtime for Bonzo, so nothing's impossible when you look at different presidents' origins. But Donald Trump doesn't actually need my support. He's doing very well. But when I talk to people, when I talk to folks that are, I don't know, if you listen to this show, you're probably pretty thoughtful. You're probably reasonably intelligent. You're probably a person that, I don't know, doesn't pop off with some sort of knee-jerk reactionary sort of way of going through life on a regular basis. You're probably kind of put together, kind of thoughtful, smart. And that leads you to not necessarily jump to conclusions. It leads you to not be played like other people can be played. Now, here's the thing with Trump. Let's take any number of the claims that have been leveled against him. He's a racist is one that, that sort of kicked everything off. He's a racist. He said he was going to build a wall. Mexicans are rapists, and therefore he's a racist. What's interesting is I find even my most liberal would never vote for him in a million years friends from New York City, where I'm from, will be like, yeah, he's not a racist. People that know him, that have known him to be around for as long as he has. He's been a ubiquitous presence in New York City for, I don't know, as long as we've all been alive. And people that have seen him in action don't feel like he is a racist. They're like, he's really, really into himself. There's definitely a touch of crazy in there, but Trump's not a racist. Anyone that has seen him in action knows he's not a racist. There's been no evidence of racism for people that have had him be part of their daily lives in New York City for years. Even my most liberal of liberal friends are just like, oh, yeah, no, won't vote for him, but racist Trump? No, absolutely not. He just kind of doesn't have a filter between his brain and his mouth, which is, a lot of people would say, his greatest strength and greatest weakness at the same time. But the thing about Trump not being a racist is, well, it was like they said on Weekend Update on SNL. Trump's not a racist. He's like a phone sex operator for racism. He's just whispering whatever dirty little racist things that you want to hear in your ear if you happen to be someone who is prejudiced against those who have different colors of skin or different nationalities. Nobody thinks Trump's a racist that is familiar with him. Do we think his supporters are? Yeah, some of them are. Some of them absolutely 100% are. And, you're going to get that across the board. But the thing I think that bothers me the most about Trump, look, he's got no filter between his brain and his mouth. He says things in a way that again, greatest strength, greatest weakness. He says it like it is. He doesn't think before he speaks. He doesn't care about being politically correct. He has no respect for other people's feelings. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But when it comes down to it, I think what bothers me the most about the run of success that Trump is having at the moment is not necessarily the fact that he's having it. It's the fact that his campaign, whether he wants it to or not, I don't even know if it's an intentional thing, is evidencing a rather ugly piece of human nature. What is that? We'll get into it next.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. Well, it's a new one. Here I come again, coming again, taking it back to the place where I'm picking up the pen and before I started it.
So wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if a president could become a president without going after any of the people competing for that gig in a nasty and underhanded, aggressive kind of way? Wouldn't it be great if they could just run on the merits of who the hell they were without running down the competition? It would be great, but yeah, that whole, we're not going to run a negative campaign, that never lasts. That never lasts past the opening rounds. And everybody involved in this election has made it crystal clear that they're willing to do what it takes to get elected. Every last one of them. Now, for Trump, that's sort of just being him. For Trump, like we were saying, how is Trump like Fall Out Boy? Well, I realized that as much as I thought I hated the music of Fall Out Boy back in the day, I really just hated their fans. They drove me nuts. They would call the station. They dressed stupid. They had bad haircuts. They looked like they stole all their sister's clothes. And look, I understand personal expression and fashion and all the above, but if you were at a radio station in 2006 and you had to deal with Fall Out Boy fans at Fall Out Boy's height, it was not good times. And I realized I just had disdain for the people that followed that band. And actually, when you boil it all down to, there was not a lot, if anything at all, that I objected to in their music. And with Trump, look, he says ridiculous. He doesn't say ridiculous things, but they come out of his mouth in a ridiculous manner. The words he chooses to, like a Trump sentence, is going to come out of his mouth in a way that is going to upset the apple cart in some way. We've seen that over and over again. And no need pulling out specifics. We'll build a wall. We'll put a big, beautiful door in it, and I'm going to have Mexico pay for it. Well, you're a racist. And what he's saying is, we have a problem with illegal immigration. It would be really great to have better border security, but we also really appreciate the fact that America is made from people from all over the world, so we're just going to have a way of getting into the country that is more regulated and acceptable. If any other candidate addressed the immigration situation in that way, it would sound a lot more reasonable. And that's what Donald Trump was saying. I'm going to build a big, beautiful wall. Keep the people out that we want to keep out. But there will also be a big, beautiful door for people to walk into. Not so crazy. Not so crazy when you sort of break it all down. But he finds a way of saying it that's going to really offend some delicate sensibilities out there. But the way in which he says it, and this is the thing, I have absolutely no hate toward Trump supporters. I want to make that clear. I do not hate them the way I hated Fall Out Boy fans when they were calling me every 30 seconds in 2006 when I was just starting in radio, and that was all I dealt with every single day. Can you play Fall Out Boy? No! Why not? Because I just played it. I know, but I want to hear it again. See, that evidenced feelings of hate in me. That absolutely evidenced feelings of hate in me. You can't play Fall Out Boy? Well, can we talk about Pete Wentz's haircut? No! Can we talk about how Pete Wentz did this, that, and the... No talk about Fall Out Boy. No, stop calling me. I will play them in another 2 hours. But anyways, I digress. The thing about Trump supporters that bothers me is not necessarily who they are. I know some unbelievably good-hearted, I sound like I'm making excuses for them and for myself. I know some very good-hearted, intelligent Trump supporters. I really do. But for the most part, the people that I deal with on a regular basis, and maybe, because we do political talk around here sometimes, maybe we're a bit of a lightning rod for a certain type of person that has very strong opinions and a very strong desire to express them and be heard and scream and yell about some stuff. But whenever I open my mouth about Trump, the response I get, before I've even finished the sentence, is an angry, defensive one. People are mad. Trump supporters are mad. They're angry with their lot in life. They're angry with the state of the country. They feel disenfranchised. They feel betrayed. Betrayal. And I think there's actually some polling work done on this. Betrayal is a very, very powerful emotion. And when polled, a tremendous amount of Trump supporters said they felt betrayed. Betrayal is when the love of your life cheats on you. Betrayal is when you give 10, 15 years of your life to a company and you are unceremoniously fired. Betrayal is a tough one. And the emotions that run through a lot of Trump supporters are betrayal and anger. And Trump is just getting the job done. He appeals to a lot of folks. And a lot of folks are apparently angry and feel betrayed by their government. And you know what? A lot of folks have every single right to feel that way. Every single right to feel that way. But you don't make the greatest decisions when you feel angry, when you feel betrayed. You're not thinking clearly. And I think the thing that bothers me the most, and this goes for every candidate that there is. This goes for every candidate that there is. The thing that bothers me the most is that they're being set up as demagogues. They're being set up as sports teams where you will be happy if they win. If the Mets win the World Series, if the Mets make it to the playoffs, I get happy. I don't cry when the Mets lose. I cry when they win. I really do. David Wright, that guy has all these problems with his back. He shows up, he plays, he's the captain. He hits a home run. I will cry. I go, oh, good old David Wright. It happened. It happened for him. Forget the fact that he makes like $30 million a year and he's just fine, thank you very much, for the rest of his life. And he's had a great run at playing professional baseball. But I'm like, I'm so glad something actually worked out for him. Yay. Makes no sense. Zip, zing, nada. No logic whatsoever. And that sports team mentality, that diehard fan mentality is being applied to all these presidential candidates. Why? Well, you do kind of get into the realm of weird idol worship with these folks. But the other thing that you get into is this idea that happiness is wrapped up. Fixing your life is wrapped up in the election of a candidate. And Trump supporters, the folks that are angry, the folks that feel betrayed, have every right, like I said, to feel angry and to feel betrayed. And like I said, this is a problem that runs through all the candidates that are eyeing up the White House at the moment. This idea that, hey, if you vote for me, I'll fix everything. It's going to be great. Your life is going to be awesome if I'm president. People, left, right, and center, up, down, side to side, idiots, and some of the most intelligent people I know seem to be falling for this idea that your happiness is wrapped up in the election of a certain person to a very high-powered political office. It's not going to change. Your life is not going to change if Trump is elected. Your life is not going to change if Hillary's elected. There might be subtle changes. There might be more of the same. America's like a super tanker. If it's going to turn around, it's big, it's powerful, and it needs to move incrementally and slowly and definitely and carefully. But if you are unhappy today and you are expecting to be happy the day after your chosen candidate makes it into the White House, it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. And I guess what I'm doing is cautioning the angriest, unhappiest people I have come into contact with since this whole election thing started, since this whole circus, since this whole clown car of a political process kicked off a little while ago. I'm speaking to, and hey, this is not to single any one person out. This is not a dig at Trump. This is not a dig at you if you support Trump. But I am speaking to the people, the Trump supporters that seem to have united in anger and seem to have united in disenfranchisement and seem to have united in a sense of betrayal. Your guy might get the White House. He might. But that's not going to change your life and your happiness. Not tomorrow, anyway. Not real soon. Not in any way that's measurable to you. And that sense of betrayal you feel when you wake up the next day and you still have all the same problems, that'll only get worse if you invest so much into one person. So I speak now to the people that I think have the most to lose if Trump is elected. And those are his supporters. Your happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. The Dalai Lama. All righty then. Let's move on with the show, shall we, Funkhauser? Shall we do some news?
I guess so. Fine.
Fine. All right.
Can we start with Kesha?
Man, that is a can open, worms everywhere on that one.
Sad deal, man. Kesha won't be making music for the foreseeable future. She can't get out of her contract at Sony, even though her producer was abusive.
Yeah. I feel bad for her and bad for women. Ecstatic for my own ears, but it's a bad situation. But here's the thing. This is what I understand with the Kesha situation. The guy that... all right, if you are a musician, you would love it if you just got signed by a record label. You would love that if that happened. But usually there has to be a couple of steps between you being an aspiring, plucky young musician and getting that big record deal and going on to infinite, immortal rock superstardom. And one of those steps is coming up with music. You can't just walk into a record label and go like, I think I'm talented, want to hear me sing? It's not going to happen. So you need to have songs, have examples, have demos, have hits, maybe even have a finished record. And what Kesha entered into with this guy, Dr. Luke, this producer, he basically helped her make her music, which got her record contract at Sony. And as is the case with all these situations, when you have that happen, the producer is involved in the recording agreement with Sony. Hey, I invested time and effort and money and ability into creating this product, which you are going to sign and then release. Therefore, I want my legal rights protected. I don't want to be cut out of the deal. I want to make sure that not only do I get participation on this album, not only do I get royalties from this album, but if it's the hugest thing in the world, well, obviously, I want a piece of the second and third and fourth albums. I want to be able to get writing credits. I want to be able to get producer credits, and I want to be able to get publishing on this. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have this artist, and this artist wouldn't have you, so let's look after me in this exchange. That's the situation that Kesha and Sony are in. Now, when it comes down to it, the accusations that Kesha has leveled against this producer of abuse, physical and sexual abuse, assault, rape, drugging her, things of that nature, horrible, egregious, awful things. And she's now in a situation where legally she is tied up in this contract with Sony that includes this dude, Dr. Luke, which is a very unfortunate situation, but she's trying to get out of the contract with Sony. I would imagine that you want to be with Sony. You would like to continue being with Sony. If you could find a way to remove the guy that you've accused of rape from the situation, that would be better. Why she's trying to get out of her deal with Sony, I don't fully understand, but there's so much legalese at work in this situation that, well, look, ultimately Kesha is an artist. She's a musician. She makes records. She goes on tours. That's what she does. And right now, she's not being able to do that. She's not able to do that under some very tough circumstances.
Now, more AD on the radio.
Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD, and can't nobody rock a party better than me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD, and can't nobody rock a party better than me.
I just got a message from Luann, who is listening via I guess Spreaker. Yeah, probably listen over the Spreaker app. But
Yeah.
I just got a message from Luann, who said it was nice as a Trump supporter to hear someone explain. It was nice as a Trump supporter to hear someone explain things so well. I'm a Trump supporter. I think he has a lot of great things to offer the country, but I'm uncomfortable with the actions of some of his other supporters. You know what? How long did I take saying what I said? 10, 15, 20 minutes? And she boiled it down to one sentence? Bravo, Luann. She's a Trump supporter, but she's uncomfortable with the actions of some other Trump supporters. He does have a lot to offer this country in her eyes, but she worries about the path we're going down as much as she supports him because of the people that are rallying at her side. There you go. That makes sense, right, Funkhauser?
Yeah.
I wish I could have just gotten the email at the beginning of the show. We could have saved ourselves some time.
Too long, didn't read. TLDR.
TLDR. Thank you, Luann. Let's continue with the news, Funkhauser.
Jeopardy!
Yes.
Will no longer allow Canadian contestants.
Well, hold on.
That's it.
Wait a second.
Bringing the hammer down. Sorry, eh?
Isn't Trebek big old Canuck?
Yeah.
Am I making that up? Alex Trebek is Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Pot, kettle, black. So no Canadian contestants. That means you and Canadian Jane can't go on Jeopardy. I don't think they have couples on Jeopardy, do they?
Not yet. I guess not. I don't care. Either way, I can't go on.
It's surprising, actually, in all the years of Jeopardy that they haven't had couples Jeopardy. Maybe they have. It's been going for a long time. But yeah, Jeopardy no longer going to allow Canadian contestants. When
Couples Jeopardy is something else.
Yeah. When reached for comment, Alex Trebek, I think, blamed online privacy laws, then resumed laughing smugly at a complete idiot who didn't know the atomic weight of plutonium. No, that's not it.
Judges.
Go on.
Matchbox 20 frontman Rob Thomas apologized for a racist joke he made in Australia.
Yeah. Meanwhile, still no word on when he plans to apologize for the much more egregious offense of being Matchbox 20 frontman Rob Thomas. Do you like Matchbox 20's music?
I don't know how to answer that. No. No is probably the right answer. But sort of.
I think I like the two songs that made him famous.
Yeah, there's a banjo in one of them.
I don't like that 3 a.m. and I Must Be Lonely song.
I heard a song, Long Day, that was like their first hit.
That's a good song.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a good song. Long Day, and then the, what was the other one? Well, I don't know if I've ever been had a burn. That one?
Yeah. You have to be more specific. Sounds like all of them.
Yeah. I won't push you around, and what was it in the 90s? Like, Dave Matthews started that thing. Hands are marching. And the tripping beauties. That whole thing of going into your head voice. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you finally found a use for the goose. I'm so glad we have an appropriate moment. It's Canadian goose as well.
You can't be on Jeopardy now.
Yeah. Actually, I met Matchbox frontman Rob Thomas. I've met him twice. Well, once I just saw him. Once I was walking around New York City, and he was in a store looking at porn with his wife. He's not as tall as you think he would be. He's a short little dude, and he was looking at porn with his wife, which I thought was a sign of a healthy relationship, and I was proud of him. But it was still kind of like, I saw the guy from Matchbox 20 looking at porn in the East Village in New York City. I thought it was pretty cool. And then he came by the station not so long ago, and I had Milhouse the puppy with me, and he loved Milhouse the puppy, and Milhouse the puppy loved him. And he has a dog that looks a lot like Milhouse. And he was showing me pictures on his phone, and he's like, this has been the best stop on the tour. I needed a little time to play with a puppy. And what was so funny is, like, he had to go in and do some performance for one of the other radio stations around here, and I'm walking Milhouse outside, and as he's getting ready to, as I'm outside, I see like this miniature tour bus, which is obviously for the dudes and Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20's band, and then there's like a gaggle of groupie chicks hanging around expectantly, waiting for him to come out. A gaggle. There was a gaggle of groupies. Is that the right term for a group of groupies? A gaggle?
Probably.
It could be like crows. It could be like crows. It could be a murder of groupies. The way it's like, you call a bunch of you call a bunch of crows in a group a murder. Like it's like a flock of sheep. A murder of crows. I think I like the expression a murder of groupies. But there was a murder of groupies hanging out, waiting for him to get onto his bus. Cleavage akimbo, even though it was very, very cold outside. And so Rob Thomas walks out, and he's... they don't actually run up to him because there's some security there, but the murder of groupies starts screaming like, Rob! 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 And he's like, thank you very much. See you tonight at the show, I hope. And he gets on the bus, and I'm still walking Millhouse, and he sees me walking Millhouse. He's like, oh, I gotta come and give the puppy a kiss. And he leaves his tour bus, completely ignores all he ignores the murder of groupies that are vying for his attention, and goes and gives Millhouse the puppy a puppy kiss. True story. So Millhouse was like, ha ha, you bitches got dissed. I'm the one that got the Rob Thomas love, and I didn't even want it. How does that make you feel? Actually, that was me projecting onto Millhouse. Millhouse probably, is not as snarky of a person with his inner dog monologue as I am. But yeah, Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20 dissed groupies to hang out with Millhouse the puppy. And that's the story. Go on, what else?
Britney Spears says her next album is 80% done.
Right, yeah.
She just needs Drake.
Since it's no longer 2003, only 4 of us still care.
Is that how long she's been working on it from? Since?
I think that's when she had her day. Although Britney Spears seems to be this unstoppable train of people can't stop paying attention to her. She continues to capture the public imagination. Why? Who's to say?
I know.
No. Because sometimes
I guess you're right.
That aspect of it is, it's a train wreck. Maybe she relates to, her audience because, she knows she still speaks to people that feel as though they can buy albums in Marlboro Miles.
Time for a yawn and a stretch and a walk, you see. They know my order at the restaurant across the street. That's why when I shuffle in, my coffee's already waiting for me. Breeze on the patio, outdoor table, sitting with my puppies, Homer and Mabel, wondering how the rest of the day will be. Just then a kid stops by and Homer jumps up to say hi, laughing kids and happy dogs, and yeah, that's kinda all you need. Sunshine coming my way, nothing's gonna change how I feel today. Nothing's gonna get in the way of my perfect day.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The Dumbing Up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
Did you catch the Bernie Sanders Freudian slip? Did you catch this, Funkhauser? Did you hear it?
No.
CNN hosted a town hall meeting for the Democratic candidates in South Carolina, and at one point, Sanders made a pretty sizable Freudian slip. Let's see if you hear it as well.
Some of my best friends are moderates. I love moderates.
Let's just hear that
What
again.
was that?
Some of my best friends are moderates. I love moderates.
One more time.
Some of my best friends are moderates. I love moderates.
I love moderates,
Some of my
too,
best
Bernie.
friends are moderates, too.
I love moderates. Hold on, thinking about moderates. They're jiggling in my mind's eye right now. Jiggly moderates. Speaking of being jiggly, let's talk about pizza.
I think Domino's is trying to kill us. I can't figure out those Domino's deals. You can get one large pizza for $15.99 or 2 large pizzas for a nickel. If we get them so fat they can't leave the house, then they have to call us again. It's called the Domino's effect. Domino's. But Domino's, they're doing the sandwiches because of the success of those Subway restaurants, right? Those Subway restaurants are everywhere. I got one backstage in my bathroom. You're like, hey, Subway, eat fresh. And then you bite in and you're like, not so fresh. But I go to Subway, and not just because it's fun watching a clinically depressed person throw together your sandwich. It's kind of awkward while they make your sandwich. You just stand there wishing the sneeze guard was facing the other way.
And even if they do manage to make us all big, fat, lard-ass, fat-filled fatties, the way Jim Gaffigan said, is there really anything wrong with that?
I've been trying to lose weight, man, because I like all type of women. You know what I mean? Like, I like all type of women. Like I like big girls. I do. You know, big girls always smell like some dessert you ain't had in a long time. You ever hug one of them? You be like, is that red velvet cake? Two big people having sex is fun. It just don't make an attractive noise. It sounds like a whole bunch of wet handshakes. You got to think about stuff, man. I was thinking, like, what if I get a big girl pregnant, right? And the baby grow up, start to walk and run, and we can't catch it. We'll literally be unfit parents. You know what I mean? Like, you know how embarrassing that'll be? Like, how am I fill out a missing person report? Like, sir, when'd you realize the baby was missing? I'm like, immediately. I was right there. I was right there when he ran off. I was right there.
Leonard outs, everybody. You, my friend, and I will play a game of Trump or Kanye, who said it, a little later on. Right now, though, let's wrap up what remains of the news, Funkhauser. By the way, Funkhauser, how are you? How are things going?
Things are good.
How's stuff?
I got a little puppy that's been keeping me up at night, but other than that, things are okay, you know? I just got my tickets for America's Got Talent next couple weeks. They're coming to my hometown, yeah.
Really?
So I'm going to go spend 4 hours in an auditorium watching people juggle.
So this is like an audition? Like you're going to go watch the audition phase of it?
Yeah, the taping part. Yeah.
Howard Stern quit, right?
Yeah, now it's Simon Cowell and everybody else, same three.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Stern was so good at that. I mean, I know, like, yeah. But I could see why you wouldn't want to do it anymore. I mean, you know, I don't want to do the things that I do, and I'm in my 30s, you know? It's like, and I have no money, so I have to do everything that I do. But, like, Stern has all the money in the world, and I think once he climbed the mountain and proved he could be awesome at something that everybody was like, what, really, this guy? I think he was like, okay, I slayed that dragon. Let's go back to just being awesome in the ways I'm traditionally awesome in. Anyways, let's continue with the news, shall we?
The owners of the Chicago Cubs started a super PAC to run ads against Donald Trump. Yeah.
I think Donald Trump said this kind of freaked me out a little bit because he was just like, "Really, you're running negative campaign ads against me? You're a person, you know, like the owners of the Chicago Cubs. You have some stuff to hide, and that makes me a little uncomfortable. It's just that sort of like for or against mentality. If you're not with me, you better be careful. Like, I can't remember the specific warning he issued after he heard about it. I was like, that's Trump being Trump. That's awkward. But yeah, the owners of the Chicago Cubs started a super PAC to run ads against Donald Trump. This is one of those cases where Donald Trump can call somebody losers and nobody will argue. Although they did have a good run of it. They almost made it. They almost made it into the World Series last year. Did not, but very close. And quite frankly, Chicago Cubs fans, look, if my Mets don't win it, and if the Houston Astros don't win it, then, you know what? I have absolutely no connection to Chicago. I've never lived there. I mean, I love Chicago. I love the time that I've spent there. But like, I don't have a predetermined genetic loyalty for the Chicago Cubs. But I've always liked them. Always liked them. Why? Well, I think they were on such an incredible losing streak that everybody just felt like let's see something good happen to these guys. It's the underdog syndrome. And you know what? If the Mets don't win, I think I would be equally happy with the Chicago Cubs or the Houston Astros winning. I would. Hashtag Let's Go Mets. Hashtag Go Stros, and whatever the hashtag the Chicago Cubs use. Feel free to insert that yourself. Go on. What
Sports.
else?
Who is American Pharaoh?
You don't know?
Who that is? Well, asking you. I have the information here. I'm asking you. Who's American Pharaoh?
Well, look, whether you like to go bet the ponies or not, whether you like horse racing, whether you like to go to Del Mar and watch horses race one another, or whether you are a gambling person that has always been into horse racing because you have an addiction that you have to feed, have to feed. I'm guessing that you know who American Pharaoh is, or what American Pharaoh is. American Pharaoh is the American thoroughbred racehorse who won the American Triple Crown and the Breeders' Cup in 2015. Like, big deal. We love it when American athletes are the best, and American Pharaoh was unquestionably the best for a minute there. But, yeah, That's who American Pharoah is. World famous, renowned racehorse.
Now the racehorse is breeding.
Yeah. Yeah, I think retired from racing. But you have a champion like that, well, there's big money in breeding it. So American Pharoah has entered a rather interesting phase of his career where he is being used for the purposes of breeding and apparently is having a great old time with it. Lots and lots of horse sex.
Gross.
Despite all of this, though, I mean, he's retired. His racing days are behind him. And despite the offer of constant horse sex, I think what American Pharoah probably wants at this stage in the game is a, wait for it, stable relationship. And if somebody had it in Erase Your Karate Kid sound effect, that would have gotten a... Yeah.
You're the best! Around! Nothing!
There we go. We got to get that back.
Yeah. It's in my email somewhere.
Make that your mission. What else?
Oh, man. Well, there's some news.
Uh-huh.
Cover the ears of the kids there. So I'm about to read something. Turn your radio down for 15 seconds.
Okay.
Historians say Hitler had a tiny deformed penis and one testicle.
Oh. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, the English troops used to, you know, that song?
Mm.
To the tune of that, they used to sing, Hitler has only got one Manberry. Although they didn't say Manberry, they said something that maybe would get us fired if we said it on the radio. So yeah, the legend was that his cash and prizes were not intact or sizable, and we all want to believe that about Hitler, but historians are now saying that it's actually true. I guess we don't need to watch a 10-hour Ken Burns documentary to examine the reasons for World War II after all. Just a guy with a laughably small piece of equipment seeking to take it out on the rest of the world. No wonder he was a little testy. Go on. One more piece of news.
Stephen King says Ted Cruz scares him.
Not as much as LASIK eye surgery, of course, but scary nevertheless. I met Stephen King a little while ago, and those glasses really are something. He rocks the Coke bottle glasses. But you know what? I mean, being a writer, someone that spent his entire life staring at typewriters and computers and things like that, I wonder if Stephen King still works on a typewriter the way he did back in the day when he first started writing. I can't imagine that it would be a good thing for him to do. Like, you know, what are you going to do? Tipex out the mistakes? But I think a lot of people that write are kind of like stuck in one mode of doing things or thinking. Or Jerry Seinfeld says that he's been writing all of his jokes and all of his bits on a yellow legal pad since like 1969 or whenever it was that he first started doing comedy. Like Jerry Seinfeld still to this day uses the yellow legal pad, talks about it a lot, and that's the only way he'll work. He could work on his phone, he could work on a computer, but nope, yellow legal pad on a ballpoint pen. So I wonder if Stephen King still uses a typewriter. I still, this is really embarrassing, I still pay for America Online and still pay my $12 a month or whatever the hell it is. Because, all right, AOL is free. I hold on to my AOL address because it's the only thing besides my phone number that's been consistent my entire life, and I don't know if I could let it go at this stage in the game. B, like, besides wanting to hold on to something I've had since I was a kid, when I prepare for whatever radio show that I'm doing, if you have the America Online software, there's a way that it works and a way that it kind of lays out that when I first got into radio, I started using it to do my prep with, and the way that their browser works and that holds like my favorites and stuff like that, you know, just I don't want to give up. And you can't use the software. You have to go web-based if you're not willing to pay the $12 a month. And of course, who the hell pays $12 a month for internet? No one, except for me, because I'm just stuck in this way of doing things where it's like a muscle memory. Like I need it to be the same way, and I've tried it other ways thinking like I can't pay $12 a month. This is a huge waste of money. This could feed, you know, what is it, $5 to feed a family that's starving in a third world company for a year or something like that. Like what a tremendous waste of money, but I just can't get into using anything else. We are creatures of habit. How much time do we have left, Funkhauser?
Like a minute.
All right. Quick game of Trump or Kanye. Got some music? All right.
Who said it?
Who said it? Money was never a big motivation for me, except as a way to keep score. The
Kanye.
real excitement is playing the game. Kanye West or Donald Trump?
Kanye.
Trump!
Oh, no. Come on.
Yeah, true story.
He doesn't play the game.
I feel like I'm too busy writing history to read it. Trump or Kanye?
Ooh, that's Kanye.
That was Kanye. Well done. Nobody can tell me where I can and can't go. Trump or Kanye?
Ooh, that's both. I'd say Trump.
Nope, Kanye West. Anyone who thinks my story is anywhere near over is sadly mistaken. Trump or Kanye?
You said it like Kanye, but I bet you it's Trump.
Correct, Donald Trump. Let's see if I can throw you off the scent this time. Know your worth. People always act like they're doing more for you than you're doing for them. Trump or Kanye?
Kanye. Trump.
Correct. It
Kanye.
was, in fact, Kanye West. I thought that was Trump. One more. Without passion, you don't have energy. Without energy, you have nothing.
Kanye.
Trump.
Oh,
Wrong.
come on.
I'm sure it was when he was describing Jeb Bush. You're very low energy. Thank you so much for hanging out. Have yourself an awesome weekend. You rule.